Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome to Lady Khadija Online College, radiallahu anha. May God be pleased with her. Live lesson, A-level maths, year 2, pure maths. Today it's more work on sum of arithmetic series. If you're following through in the book, it's chapter 3, example 7. We're taking a series and we're asking how many terms will it take to reach a certain total. So let's take a look at the sequence. It's 4, 9, 14, 19, 24, and it carries on like that. And we're asking how many terms will it take? How many terms until the sum is at least 2000? So how do we do that? Well, we start with the two formulas that we learned last time for the sum of a sequence of numbers. So the first formula is the first number in the sequence plus the last number, and we times that by n over 2, how many numbers there are, divided by 2. That's one of the formulas we can use, which is pretty much the easiest formula. If you can use that one, then definitely use that one. But unfortunately, a lot of the questions, you're not given all of that information readily, so you might have to switch to the other one, which is that we can work out the sum by doing the number of numbers divided by 2 times, and then in brackets, it's quite long, but it's 2 times the first number in the sequence plus, and then n minus 1d. So n minus 1d, that's the number of numbers, take away 1, and then d is the difference. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got the a, which is the first number. We've got the d, which is the difference between the pairs. So that's plus 5. And what else do we have? We don't have the last number. We don't have the n, the number of numbers, because that's the question. That's what we're supposed to find out. We do have the sum. We know the sum is going to be at least 2000. So we want the formula to be at least 2000. So we can write it like this, that it's not going to be the first formula because we don't know the last number. So we're going to have to pick out this one. So that's the formula for the sum. And we want that to be at least, so that means it has to be bigger than or equal to 2000. And then it's just solving it from there. Let's put in the numbers we know. We know a is 4 from here. So we know a is 4. We don't know what n is. We know what d is. D is 5. And that's enough. That means that it's only n that we don't know. So let's write that down. So that's n over 2. 2 times a, 2 times 4, that's 8. Plus n, I'm going to leave alone. D is 5, so I can put the 5 just before the bracket. And that's going to be bigger than or equal to 2000. And then just carry on solving. If you're working through this right now, then just work through it. See if you can get to n before me. I'm just going to expand out the 5n minus 1. Leave everything else the same. So just inside here, the 5n minus 1, that can become 5n minus 5. Just take that away. Replace that 5n minus 1 with 5n minus 5. That's those brackets expanded. The minus 5 and the plus 8, so that can be 8 take away 5, which is 3. So I just need to write 3 instead of the 8 take away 5. 8 take away 5 is 3, so just need to write 3. And that's a positive 3, so that's going to be a plus 3. And then the plus I can get rid of. Multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of this divide by 2. So 2000 can become 4000. So multiplying by 2 would mean this disappears. divided by 2 disappears, and then that becomes a 4,000. Let's straighten up that n, and then it's a case of just multiplying out the brackets. So 5n plus the 3 in the brackets multiplying by the n, so that becomes 5n squared plus 3n. Has to be bigger than or equal to 4,000. So that's 5n squared. Put the squared in. Has to be bigger than or equal to 4,000. So here we just want to take away 4,000 from both sides to make it equal to 0. And then put it into a quadratic and solve that. It's a bit too much for factorizing, so I would suggest you put it into your calculator. And you should have a calculator for A level where you can solve the quadratic. It can solve the quadratic for you. So if you put that in and then just read out what the answer is. So that's a takeaway 4,000. Has to be bigger than or equal to 0. So even though it's an inequality, just put it in as normal and you should get what n is. In this case, I'm going to just use something online. Which is a quadratic equation solver. My coefficients are 5, 3, and minus 4,000. You should get two answers. One of them would probably be negative. Remember, we can't have a negative. If they're both positive, then we're going to have to think a bit more carefully. Let's put them in. So we're going to have 5, 3, and minus 4,000. So that gives you a negative, which is minus 28, and a positive, which is 27.98. Remember, in sequences, you can only have a first number, second number, third number, so the whole number answers for which number of terms it is. So 27.98, we can't have that as an answer. We'll have to round that, so n would be 28, because we're looking for it being bigger than or equal to the 2,000. So if we go bigger than, then that'll mean it'll still be bigger than 2,000. If we round it down to 27, then it wouldn't quite get to the 2,000. You're probably thinking that why would we round down to 27? In this case, we wouldn't, but imagine the answer was 27.1. We'd still go up to 28 because we want to get up to 2,000 and it has to reach 2,000 and go past it. Join me for more sequences tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be with you and the blessings of God.